Hey guys, Dr. Ben here. Welcome to a Power Pack Brokerpreneur Byte. Get ready to dive into proven strategies for recruiting top talent, retaining your best agents, and skyrocketing sales in the next 10 minutes. I'm your host, of course, Dr. Ben Spears, along with our real estate guru, Matt Vi. Join us as we unravel the secrets to take your brokerage to new heights. Let's dive in.
This next point is a very critical one. Don't put lipstick on a pig, right?
Yep.
Do not try to make something that's a bad part of this be a good part. So let me give you an example, okay? Let's say that your company is going from whatever to dot loop, right? They're going from some other type of forms program to the dot loop program. Dot loop's really intuitive. It really helps with compliance. It helps with a lot of other things. You need to make sure you talk about the positives, but you also need to say, listen, guys, there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve here. There's going to be a time when you want to hold on to how you were doing things before, paperwork wise, but we really need to shift into this new way of doing things. We really need to take this step because you're going to have to sit down in training classes. There's going to be times when you sent something and it was the wrong way and you might be a little bit embarrassed to your customer. I want to minimize those. But in the long run, here's the reason why we're doing this. Here's why this is happening. Do not make it all sweet and shiny like it's unicorns farting glitter, because that is not the way it's going to be. Whenever there's change, there's going to be some painful parts to it. In those painful parts, we have to make sure that everybody understands they're coming so that they're prepared and braced for it, so it doesn't surprise them, because that's what people don't like. You mentioned it before. They like structure. They're not really excited about the surprises, especially when they're forced into changing.
Yeah, I remember my first, what I would really call a successful year in business was into the year March 15th. A lot of people think April 15th, but from business standpoint, March 15th comes around.
Right.
And I ended up paying like quite a bit of money in taxes, right? I was a young businessman. I wasn't too savvy. And I remember telling my dad, I was like, Dad, gosh, it was a great.
I thought I won.
I thought I won, but no, I didn't. And he said, "Oh, son," yeah, my dad doesn't talk like that, but son, if you paid a lot of taxes, that means you were really successful that year. You made a lot of money, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're talking about as well, right? Turning that. Right. No, Dad, don't tell me. I don't want to hear that.
Right. It's not about what you lost. It's about what you gained.
Yeah. I want to win.
Right.
I want to win at business.
Absolutely. And so in order to win a business, that's what we got to do. We got to grab onto this next one.
Oh, absolutely. You got to embrace change, guys. Right? And give it a big hug. You threw the dart at the carnival. You broke the balloon. They give you the 6 foot tall teddy bear that says change on the front of
it. It's actually like a Pink Panther.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's the most awkward one to carry. A big bear, you can just drape over. Your Pink Panther's the one with legs all over the place and everything.
Tail 6 feet long on top of it.
That's right, dragging through the carny mud. So you got to embrace the change, but you have to realize that change is a cycle. Okay. Yeah. So that's the other part of it. It's not a big mistake that people make from a recruiting perspective. Okay. So they talk to their staff. They agree that we're going to work together. They talk to their staff. And we come in and we have initial conversations and consultations with different parts of the staff. And you can tell that sometimes the owner just said, hey, these guys are going to come in and do something to help us. Take it away, Matt and Ben. And as soon as that happens, our welcome specialist can't hit on all cylinders the way it's supposed to, or the managers are not right. All of this turns into that vicious cycle simply because it wasn't explained properly that it was going to be a path to get where we were going. It wasn't going to just be a yes or a no. It's actually going to be a path of where we were going.
Yep, you're exactly right. And people, and I love that you said path, right? Because that's right. So important. And a lot of programs, a lot of systems, a lot of things have steps. Mm-hmm. Like you have these step programs, and the same thing when it comes to change at work. I don't know how many there are. I don't know if there is like a written amount that people are going to initially feel one way. And they're going to feel like super uncomfortable. They're going to be like, is this going to work? Oh my gosh, they took away my favorite software.
Right.
And then you have that kind of resistance, right? You have that resistance phase. It's like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not even going to start. I'm not even going to create my account.
Right. Yep.
Then I can't use anything else. I can't go back to paper. Yeah, let's try this. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. This isn't so bad, right? I'm starting to discover what's going on here. And then this is so much better. I don't know why I was so resistant. This is so much better than what we used to have.
Right.
And,
And then,
and you can't, and as a leader, you can't force shortcuts.
right.
There has to be that process.
Absolutely. And the person has to come to that themselves, right? So whether it's the staff that's going to have to be more growth mindset whenever people when they walk in the front door. So one of the things that we ask people is, when an agent shows up for an appointment, whether it's a new agent or experienced agent or a team or whatever it is, and that staff member sees that person walk in the front door,
Yep.
what do they feel?
Yeah.
Not what do they think, even deeper than that, what do they feel? Do they feel like, oh my gosh, this is great for the company? I hope these people sign on because these look like really cool people that I can work really well hand in hand with. And I know that this is going to help us grow as a company, and this is going to change things and make things better. Or when they walk in the door, is the staff going, oh, crap.
There's another one.
There's another one. There's more
Let me print the papers.
More. That's right. So as a leader, as an owner, as the person in charge of recruiting, you have to have people that look at it that first way. They have to be excited. And that's easier said than done. And so, but that's part of that change management. How you have that conversation with that person is going to make all the difference in the world. Whether there's incentives tied to it, that's going to make all the difference in the world. So the key thing on this actually brings us to the next point, which logically all of these should be hand in hand, right? But the next one is, you have to be patient with it. You can't walk up to that staff member and say, listen, we're going to start doing this with our recruiting, and I'm going to have you help out this way, and this is going to make a difference with the new people that join, and all of this is going to make things better. Let's go ahead and make sure that you're boned up and ready to go on that tomorrow at 8 a.m. because it's time that you have to run this perfectly. All that's going to do is scare the crap out of them. It's going to force change in them that they didn't know you didn't, right?
Skipping steps.
Skipping steps. You're trying to force them to skip steps just because sometimes that happens because the leadership gets forced into the position to change. And finally, they're like, oh, crap, I got to hurry up and do this. Okay, everybody, all hands on deck. Everybody, we're going to change. We're going to turn the course of the ship immediately. Ships don't turn at 90 degrees.
Yeah.
That's not how that works. So what we have to make sure we're doing is we have to be patient. Patience has to be the virtue.
Yeah, everyone repeat after me. Goose brabam.
Thank you, Ben.
But and we know that we're all guilty of this, right? So this is where, from a broker owner standpoint or a leader standpoint, you can sit there and you can go, gosh, I've been thinking about this for months, even years, to implement this system or implement this program or to start whatever it is that you want to start. And then you come in, you're so excited about it. You just know that the second that you come in, everyone else, you just mention it, everyone else is going to be so excited about it just because you've been thinking about it for so long. And then all of a sudden they're like, whoa, they put their guard up and they're like, well, what about this? And then you're like, I remember having that question 6 months ago when I first started investigating this. Right. Then you're like, okay, I need to go through almost the same cycle that I just went through. Maybe I can expedite it a little bit.
Right.
With all my people, and you can't get frustrated with them.
Right.
This is so important. You can't get frustrated with them because they don't know everything about it.
They don't feel like they're in the same place you are. You absolutely have to be patient with them on that. That's a fantastic point.
Like if you've ever helped a 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever year old learn how to read, then it's at A&T. At why can't of course I was like this. Why can't you get this right? That's exactly why this patience is so critical, because that's truly what you're doing when you're implementing a new system. It's something that you've thought about, it's something that you've learned, and you're putting it on people, and you can't expect to just hand a book to a 5-year-old and they just start reading it
and then just get it. It's simply just not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen that way. So let me recap really quick what all of these are. So let's start with don't be an underminer. You can't be the person that undermines the change or doesn't acknowledge, but you also have to look for those people within your organization, right? Yep. But then the next one is you got to set the expectation, right? You have to make sure that they know what is going to potentially happen. Okay. And then the next one is going to be they have to understand how it's going to affect them. They've got to have a very good idea, a very good expectation of what's going to happen with them because this change is being forced to be made. The next one is never take something that's a negative and try to spin it like it's a positive. Just don't do it. You're not doing yourself a favor. You're not tricking anybody. Everybody's going to figure it out. Next, number 5 is embrace the change, right? Just go ahead and get your hands wrapped around it, realize it's a cycle, and embrace that change. Give it a big fat hug and say, hey, I don't love you, but maybe I'll learn to love you. And number 6 is patience is a virtue, right? We've got to make sure that we're staying really, in order to stay to the path, that we have to give ourselves the time to acclimate to that path. Okay.
Yep.
Really quick, if anybody wants the 20 things to look for in a conversation about change and the 3 things you need to do to help people adapt to it, if anybody wants that guide, just reach out to Ben and we'll get it sent over to you. Ben at prospectboomerang.com.
Yep, Ben at prospectboomerang.com. And I'll leave you guys with a final thought before I close this out, because it just made me think about it. I don't know why, when you said don't turn a negative into a positive. And I've never heard this before, but maybe it's just the doctor in me. Not all mold is penicillin. So anyway.
But all penicillin is mold.
Exactly. Awesome, guys. If you're listening to us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, all those places, make sure you hit that button and follow the podcast. If you happen to be watching this or listening to this on YouTube, hit that red subscribe button and hit that button right beside of it. It's got a little bell on it, and that lets you get notified every single time we put forth an episode into the YouTubeosphere. If you want any of those things or you have any questions for us, again, Ben at prospectboomerang.com. We offer a bunch of different things. So make sure when you send me that email, you're specifying which one you want, and I'll make sure to send you the one that you're asking for. And last but not least, we offer those things to you guys. We do these podcasts. We go out and we grab some amazing guests. We do it for one reason and one reason alone. And why is that, Matt?
Because we just want to be part of their win, Ben.